Hello friends, I'm Steve Sandford. You're watching Dominion Report. This is part of my series on bumper sticker politics. Be sure to click on the playlist so that you don't miss any episodes. In this video, we're going to talk about axe the tax. Now, this phrase fits perfectly with the three-word and verb article noun criteria of bumper sticker politics. As a nice bonus, it rhymes. Now, good marketers will tell you that the rhyming and alliteration are both excellent ways to improve the effectiveness of a tagline or a slogan. And so the rhyming really works in this case. Now, it would certainly play well as a rally chant. I haven't heard of it being chanted at conservative rallies, but if you have, let me know in the comments. Now, initially, the Conservatives used this tagline to focus on the Liberal government-imposed carbon tax. In that sense, there was some useful meaning to the line. Now, Mark Carney, who is the recent Liberal leader and recently sworn-in Prime Minister, took a bunch of the wind out of this particular line's sails by removing the consumer side of the carbon tax. Now, some analysts have suggested that this was an effective tactic by the Liberal Party to take away a conservative talking point. Others say it was an unethical use of office to buy votes using tax reduction just before an election. I'll let you decide which side of the coin there you want to fall on. Now, conservatives have pointed out that Carney didn't remove the law from the books, but only revise that law to reflect $0. This is their proof that if reelected, the Liberals will simply just reinstate the tax after the election. Now, to insert some context here, the carbon tax law in Canada is officially called the Greenhouse Gas Pollution Pricing Act. And it has both a consumer tax side and an industrial tax side. And very much, admittedly, the Liberals reduced to zero only the consumer tax side. Now, because of this, they couldn't strike the entire law from the book because they were retaining the industrial side, so they made the consumer side of it reduced to zero. Now, subsequent claims by conservatives point out that the industrial side of the tax is still there, and therefore they're sticking to their axe the tax phrase. Conservatives in this case are not telling the whole story. So the industrial side of the tax exists because it is required for Canada to trade with European countries. That's based on laws in those countries, and it applies to anybody that they trade with, not just Canada. If Canada doesn't collect the industrial carbon tax, European countries will put tariffs on Canadian products to collect the same amount, making the final price of the product about the same either way. But that would award the extra tariff tax collected by those governments to those governments instead of the carbon tax equivalent going to the Canadian government. Conservative Party leaders must be aware of this, but they're not broadcasting it. Further, when the Liberals did axe the carbon tax, it was, of course, a win for conservative policy. They've been advocating for that for years, ever since it was implemented. Of course, they're not celebrating that win because even though they believe it to be a good thing for Canada, it was the opposing party that did it. And a political victory perhaps is more important than a victory for Canada. Now, to be fair, all political parties do this kind of thing. So to summarize, the Liberals appear to have used the power of the office to take away a conservative talking point. Conservatives pivoted their talking point to one that doesn't provide appropriate context. And then they refuse to celebrate what really should be a win for their policy agenda. Politics is messy, my friends. More recently, conservatives are pivoting a little bit again. They're moving the axe the tax slogan to new home purchases, to Energi, to Canadian manufacturing and, other things. And to me, that seems a bit weak. It's a bit of a diluted message to present it in that way. But the three words fit on a bumper sticker and they rhyme, and so they probably want to keep it around. I'd like to keep you around, so stand by this channel for more breakdown of bumper sticker politics catchphrases. If there's one particular phrase you've heard and you would like to discuss further, make a note in the comments or send me an email. In the meantime, stay calm, stay strong, and elbows out.